All right, hi everyone. My name is Mark. I am one of the business analysts with the ERP team. Welcome to Transform 2025, hosted by Davin. This session will cover our AI-powered sales order agents, or I have started calling them super agents in Business Central. So let's dive in. Okay, great. So the first question I imagine you may have is, what is a sales order agent? A sales order agent is a co-pilot AI-powered assistant within Business Central. It sits in the top right-hand corner of your role center, just waiting to get activated and start automating your tasks. It was first released during release wave 1, March 2025 this year, in public preview, and then generally available as of November this year. One of two agents currently available within Business Central, the other being the payables agent. Now, the payables agent, that's a whole other ballgame, right? That could perform document data extraction, OCR functionality, vendor identification, and even purchase order matching. Not to mention that even through our Copilot Studio, which is the next presentation, you can create your own agents and connect them to Business Central. So sounds good, right? Now I guess your next question will be, what can it do? So our AI-powered agent can monitor an inbox for quote or order requests and generate same with human oversight and approval. It can create contacts for entities from email addresses not currently in Business Central. It can review inventory on hand and advise the client on various choices if an item is not available. It can draft email responses and attach sales documents, specifically sales quotes and sales orders. I will note now that the agent does not produce a sales invoice. That step still requires human intervention. So now on to the next question. Is this magic? How is it doing all of this? This is not magic. This is simply AI. Let's look at this diagram and review the process before getting into the recording. We can identify three key users of this process: the external customer, the sales order agent in the middle, acting as a buffer and a first line of contact for our sales team, and then the sales team itself, the Business Central user. Three key phases occur. Let's take a brief look at each. So phase one. Phase one is the initial request and quote creation. The customer sends a request. The process begins with the customer initiates contact with us, likely asking for a product or a service. Then Business Central adds a review task, which will be the number 2 here in the diagram. Internally, a task is created to ensure someone reviews the incoming email. 3, the user reviews and confirms the request. A team member evaluates the request for feasibility, completeness, or alignment with our offerings. Finally, Business Central creates a quote. Based on the reviewed request, a formal quote is generated detailing pricing, terms, and scope. From there now we move on to phase 2, the internal review and customer approval. Business Central adds another review task. A second internal review is scheduled to validate the quote before it's sent out. A user review and confirms the quote. This step ensures accuracy, compliance, and readiness for our customer presentation. And finally, once sent to the customer, the finalized quote is officially delivered to the customer. The customer decides whether to proceed. And finally, we will move on to phase 3, order processing and fulfillment. So Business Central now creates the order. The quote is converted into a formal order within the system. A user would review and confirm the order. The order undergoes final validation before dispatch or fulfillment. Business Central sends the order. The completed order is sent to the customer, initiating delivery or execution. And finally, the customer receives confirmation. The customer acknowledges receipt of the order and confirms everything is in place. So all of this entire diagram, we will see this flow. We will see the email come in, the task generated, the review and the confirm. All steps for this process are simply review and confirm for the end user as Business Central handles the workload. So some key points to take away here. There are multiple review checkpoints to ensure quality and accountability at each stage. That's indicated by the review and confirm, 3, 5, 9, and 11 on the diagram. So there are multiple steps when a user has to intervene and say yes or no. Customer involvement is limited to the initial request, quote review, and final confirmation, streamlining the customer experience. So we see the customer is just really involved in points 1, 7, and what would be 13. That's all they're seeing. That's all they would see. They send the email, someone gets back to them in a timely manner, and we get the ball rolling. And finally, Business Central handles the bulk of the workflow, emphasizing automation and internal control. So the task going down the center, which is the majority of the work, writing the email, creating the documents, put it into Business Central, making sure you select the right customer, making sure you have the right quantities, the right item. That's all done from Business Central. No user has to do that. Right? Any questions so far before we move on to the pre-recorded demo? So let's move on. Demo time. Right. So on our screen here, users of Business Central will be familiar. This is your role center. This is where you land, quote unquote, when you log on to Business Central. And on the top right-hand corner, next to the red cursor, we can see an SO with the number 1 above it. SO represents our sales order agent. The 1 in red indicates that we have 1 item pending for our review. So we're going to go onto the sales order agent. And we see how we have an email. So I'm going to pause here for a minute. So it gives you a summary at the start before even going any further. The message is from whom and the details about it. It's incoming, a request for information on available office chairs for purchases made. The mail was received and is ready for processing. So we're going to click into the review. And we're going to see the incoming email. I'm going to pause here again, and we're going to see that there's a notification at the top of the screen. The contact with this email is not found. We don't have this email in Business Central right now. Who is this person? Yeah, and we'll see it again under the email details. There's an unknown contact. We need to register this contact. Further down in the message area, we can see some details on the quote, on the request, the actual email from the client. So they're saying a very vague request in this first instance. I need to order some chairs for the office. Can you advise what is available? That's it, right? I just need something, what it is you have. So let's continue. No attachments found. So first thing we'll have to do is to register the contact. I'm going to register this contact and assign it to a company. And then I'm going to confirm this initial request. So we're going to see the same pattern from the slide with the end user. It's all review and confirm, review and confirm. Right, so we reviewed and we confirmed the first request from the client. We see here that the task is in progress. Steps appear here once they are completed or ready. So now we have an outgoing email that our agent has produced. And this will actually be a very long, detailed email. So just a summary before we go in. Outgoing provides a list of available and out of stock office chairs with descriptions, prices, and availability. So let's review. So this email is what the agent has drafted. It uses the client's name from the initial contact. It has a little preamble. Thank you for inquiring regarding chairs for your office. Please find below a list of available options. Right, so just imagine that you are actually a salesperson, that you would have to take time out of your day to write each of these individual responses for each individual request. And now the machine is doing it for us. Right, so we have our first table area with available items. We could scroll down and we would see items that are currently out of stock. So then at the end, it says, please let us know what you're interested in. And in the signature, it says, we write mails with AI. We review and send with care. We really should review and send with care. Every item that AI produces, not even in the context of Business Central, we should be looking at and confirming that this is good and correct. Right, in addition to that, this message can be edited before we send it. You can come in here, you can make some changes. This is a static document, as well as there are some formatting options just below the message box. And from here, we are going to confirm. Again, that two-step process, review and confirm. Okay, so that email was sent. Let's skip forward. So now we have passed that initial stage of just asking what it is you have. We want to get quoted for an item. So in the summary here, from the same email, incoming, a request for a quote on 2 units of Paris and 2 units of 1972. So do note that the method the client has used is that they have not used a standard item ID. They have used one item ID and then they have just used part of the word from the description. And we will see here that our agent is able to identify this and still pull out the correct IDs. Right, so this is just a sample of the email. Hi company, please quote me for the following. We're going to confirm. So we have now confirmed that the quote is legitimate, and now Business Central will create a new sales quote for this client. So same two-step review. We'll see the sales quote created. It has chosen the correct customer because we assigned the contact to the customer ID. We have the items from the request and the correct quantities, the parish chair and 1972 and 2 units each. Yeah, so we can now go and confirm. Review and confirm again. And now Business Central, our agent will now produce the email to send this attachment with, which we will now review. Right, so we see here outgoing, the sales quote includes 2 Paris guest chairs and 2 Munich swivel chairs with a total price. So we can see the body of the email, what's going to be sent, all created by AI, of course, and the attachment at the bottom. And once we hit confirm, this is sent off to the client. So we're going to skip forward a little bit again to when the client comes back with the confirmation. So it says incoming confirms the sales quote and requests to proceed with the order. Again, we can see the body of the email. Quote is confirmed, please proceed. Something as simple as just one line as a human writing. Quote is confirmed, the agent understands, we are ready to go ahead. So we confirm this. The agent will now proceed to prepare the sales order. So we have a new sales order here generated. We can review this doc. And just as before, we have a sales order, the correct customer, we have the line items, and we have the correct quantities. So we can confirm. And then our last step here would be our agent producing the email to add this attachment to send to the client. So let's review. This is our email, dear customer, thanks for your confirmation. These are your items on the order, etc. And the attachment. And then we would confirm. And that would be the end of the process. All we have seen so far is just that the end user is clicking review, confirm, review, confirm. You check off everything, it's good to go. Let the machine handle the work, right? So AI is not about replacing people as it is about just making you more efficient. So let me just step back to my presentation just to go back to that flow diagram slide for just a moment. I know we have time issues here. Just give me 1 minute.
No, you're actually doing pretty good.
All right, okay. Yeah, I was concerned about the time. All right, so let me just bring this presentation back up. I want to go to that slide. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So here we will. So what we've seen from the recorded demo that having this AI assistant, it's like having a junior staff member that's dedicated to the task of communicating with the customer and generating the required documents with your approval as the final word. So there's no further step. You can make edits to the email, etc., but the documents are done correctly. The email looks professional and is good to go. So you can imagine a salesperson maybe sitting at the desk responding to emails all day. They may be missing calls, or in the inverse, they may be taking calls and seeing those walking customers, and the emails are done at the end of the day or when they have time. So now, without missing a beat, AI can pick up the slack with that regard and make you more efficient. So just from that short video, we have added a new contact and updated our customer master data. We have received a customer request and responded with the available items on hand and possible alternatives. We have received a request for a quote and created the same and sent it to the client. And then we have received the confirmation, created the sales order, and sent it to the client. So in all, that's about 3 emails imagine time spent to look up inventory. If this was a regular sale, you probably have to call down to the floor, call the next department. We have this in stock. We don't have this. Time spent to write those 3 emails, the sales code entry in Business Central, as well as the sales order entry in Business Central. All of these tasks were eliminated with just clicks and 0 keystrokes. Just review and confirm.